We have finally reached that time of the year that everybody hates. There's no races, there's no nothing to do with Formula 1, there's no drama, there's no crashes, there's really nothing happening. You could close your eyes for the next 2 or 3 weeks, and guess what? Nothing would have changed, though the sun would still be up in the sky. It would be summer where you are, winter where everybody else is, and it's all a bit boring. But what we can do, we can't watch new races, a bit sad, but we can reflect on the races that we've had over the last, what, couple months? Yay! Yes! 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 Just what I wanted to do! Yes! Yeah, we can do that. Look what's popping. And see how much better this season has been compared to the last. And review how bad some races were. And how good other races were for certain drivers. But yet still bad for others, including probably Sergio Perez has had a lot of bad races. So the season starts off in Bahrain like it does every single, well, a lot of the years in recent history. And Bahrain was a track that was one of the worst races that I've ever witnessed. Not only was it just an absolute shit show, boring, no overtakes, Verstappen won by 22 seconds, Red Bull won 2, I fell asleep mid-race, and Dutch Anthem played, and I thought that, guess what, the season is over, just hand Verstappen the trophy. What's the point of watching, just go on to 2025, and Verstappen's probably won that as well. Same regulations, and not much is going to change. Go 2026, that's going to be the next time I'm probably going to watch this sport again. Because it's just a bit boring. Carlos Sainz beat Charles Leclerc, got a podium, and that's really all that happened. Yuki Tsunoda thought it would be a good idea to try and kill Daniel Ricciardo after the race, and that was it. A fucking F-tier race, right to the bottom. It's going straight in that bottom category of awful. No, just straight up awful. It was awful. No. Saudi Arabia was literally a saving grace for Formula 1. It actually was like, hey, I think it's actually worth watching this. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been, because Verstappen swept the field yet again. 13 seconds to Perez in P2. Same machinery, by the way. And the only thing that actually kept this race entertaining was, number one, the fact that Carlos Sainz had to be put into hospital because he was about to collapse and die onto the ground, and in replacement was the child of Ollie Behrman, who we all love, and I don't know about you, I just want him to cook next year, you know? Yeah, and he literally single-handedly saved that entire race weekend by putting Yuki Tsunoda into a spliff, by putting Nico Hülkenberg into a spliff, and that was the race where Kevin Magnussen decided to enter out, or wait, what? Bring out the inner terrorist of himself and start killing people. So that happened. You know, single-handedly, Ollie Behrman made that race from not a piss-off race to it was a mid-race. It was passable. That's all it was, though. Passable. Let's be frank. But then Australia came around and we were actually somewhat cooking. Or I wasn't. I was watching them cook. By them, I mean Verstappen's car decided to blow up and cook itself, and Sergio Perez had damage and brought out the Australian Sergio Perez that we all know and love. And that meant that it was a Ferrari 1-2. Whoa! And then I stepped on the podium for the first time in the season. The George Russell oopsie doopsie put a smile on my face because it was like, huh? Again? Really? Really? Again? And that was enough, honestly, to solidify this race into a holy race. The reason why it isn't an absolute cook sesh, that wasn't really a battle for the win. Carlos Sainz just steamed on and won the race just like Verstappen would. But it was Ferrari, so I guess that's a tad different and a tad more fun. Better, maybe? I don't know. Japan can go right again back into piss off because it was just a boring race. What happened? Guess what? I don't remember. That's how shit it was. Verstappen won. Perez came second. There was a couple overtakes. Mercedes were cooking a bit. McLarens were overtaking slightly, smidgy-widgy here and there. Carlos Sainz stepped on the podium yet again, and that was literally all she wrote. It was a piss-off race. No one cares. I guess the lap 1 crash brought some entertainment. It was Daniel Ricciardo and Alex Albon, so that's like a no-go of the people who I want to crash out. Well, I don't want anyone to crash out, but you know what? Apart from the certain shenanigans that Bottas DNF caused, that being both RB drivers being absolutely booted in the rear by a Haas driver, and then you got Lance Stroll absolutely clarting Daniel Ricciardo from his car from behind. That was all that happened. What a boring race again. Verstappen won. But Lando Norris got P2, and I guess that was entertaining. The battles with Sergio Perez and Alonso started to fry up again. And I guess all of that actually makes into a pretty mid-race. It was alright. It was alright. That was all it was. Miami was another race that was looking like the next boringest race on the entire planet. Verstappen's leading by a country mile, and he's going to win the race by a country mile. But then Logan Sargent and Kevin Magnussen decided to terrorize the field yet again, but not terrorizing other people, but terrorizing themselves. They crashed out, and the race, which was a boring race, got flipped on its head, and it was actually one of the most entertaining races we've had in the season so far up to that point. Lando Norris got to cook and won his first race, which was kind of cool, but it was like, yeah, cool, you won your first race. No need to over-celebrate like that. It's just a race win. Get over it. Okay, cool. You've been dreaming about it your whole life, and you've been in Formula 1 for ages, and you haven't won a race because you fumbled every single bat that you've had to win a race, and there. I guess it was good. I'll put it into holy, because it was like, whoa, somebody else is winning. It's not the Verstappen dominant. And Verstappen was like, unfazed by the not winningness. That soon would fade. Now, I'm not sure about you, but I think that Imola was one of the best races we've had this season. I personally would have to put it also into holy. It can't be cooked, can it? It really can't be cooked, or even close to cooked. The reason why I'm putting it into holy is because there was a battle for the win at the end, which was like the first time we've actually seen a battle for the win the entire season. Lando Norris was hunting that guy down, Verstappen, for laps upon laps. It was the first time that, wait, actually, McLaren have a maybe potentially faster car than Verstappen. How is that possible? Sergio Perez, he returned to his original crashing form and was awful. That was also entertaining to see. And everybody was just really scrapping around at that track. It might be Imola, hard to overtake, but there was always something going on, unless I'm just going delusional. And I thought that that end battle was so... But like, the end battle, holy, actually something happening. Be happy. Now, if we're talking about Monaco itself, the race itself, that was extremely boring. Well, the last 70 laps were just absolutely boring. But the whole race weekend itself, it was a pretty holy race weekend. It was like, whoa, everything about it is pretty cool. Qualifying was insane. Verstappen not cooking up. Who'd expect? Sergio Perez, P18. That was like, oh my God, Sergio Perez. You've just signed a contract and this is what you do. And that's not the only thing that he did, because on lap 1 he crashed, and so did the two Alpine boys, and Ocon got dropped, and Leclerc won his home Grand Prix, Piastri got P2, and Norris was crying in P4. Everything about the race weekend, I think, pretty goddamn sweet, and it's a holy race weekend. To miss that race, you're in deep shit. Monaco's always a banger. I don't care what you say, no overtaking. It's a banger seeing them struggle, lap upon lap. Do I touch the wall? Do I not? Do I win? Do I not win? Do they fumble the strategy? Or does Oscar Piastri attempt to send a dive bomb, but then decides to think better of it? I'm not sure, but it was a holy race weekend in my humble opinion. Do you know what's even better than just a holy race weekend? A weekend that absolutely cooked. And Canada was one of those weekends that absolutely cooked. And it's going into the cooked category. The highest category that there possibly is. Reasons is, the whole race weekend, it was uncertain who was going to win. It was a three-way scrap for the battle for the win. It was like Dynaco, the rookie, it was like McQueen. It was like three cars battling for the win. Norris could have won. There was changeable conditions. Verstappen won. Okay, cool, Verstappen won. I don't care if Verstappen wins. I care about the entertainment, the mixed conditions, the Albon putting everybody into a split, the Sergio Perez crash, the Sainz crash and kills Alex Albon. I cried. The George Russell could have won. The Hamilton could have overtaken George Russell and gone on the final podium position. A lot of people could have won. It was carnage. It was entertainment. And Canada didn't disappoint. And that's why, for the first time this year, cooked a race weekend cooked. Yes. Yep. But the cookiness was very short-lasted. Spain, Norris got pole, fumbled the bag, and then it was just sweet sailing for Verstappen because they still had a fast car back then. And he won the race, and that's all she wrote. That's it. It's going into fucking piss off, cunt. Shit race. But you really can't have a shit race after a shit race in the times that we are living in today. I'm sorry, that's just not possible. Spain might have been bad, but you know what wasn't bad? Austria. Cool. Verstappen might have won the race, but guess what? He didn't. He didn't manage to cook up. Wait, he cooked up like he did in 2021 not by like crashing into Lewis Hamilton, but like crashing into Lando Norris this time. It was a scrap between Lando Norris and Verstappen, and that was just it the whole race. Okay, they might have crashed out. Okay, they were battling off track. They weren't even on track half the time, and George Russell somehow managed to fraud himself a win. I'm just thinking about Spa, sorry. And that's when is Norris actually good enough? Is he a championship contender? It all started to brew up, and that was entertaining. Charles Leclerc got murdered down into turn 1, and the race was... it can't be a cookie race, because there was no battle with a win. The 2 leaders crashed out. It was like, okay, cool. Holy, though. Holy. There's an actual battle for the championship, but Norris being Norris is being Norris. Verstappen, he was on 3 wheels for half a lap, battling Lando Norris, had to make another pit stop, change tyre, change everything, and he's still 20 seconds ahead of Sergio Perez, who was battling the Hazzes. Out the way, though. Holy, good race. And you know what else was a good race? Britain, Silverstone. That was an absolute cook class. There could have been... Verstappen could have won. Norris could have won. Hamilton won. Woo! Hamilton won a race for the first time since Jeddah 2021. Well, he should have won in Abu Dhabi, but you know what happened? Yeah, that happened. Norris, Russell could have... Everybody could have won, but Russell DNF'd after having an issue, and that was literally all that really happened. And for that reason, I can't put it in cook just because Lewis Hamilton won his home Grand Prix. Celebrations were better than the actual race itself, and the dying last couple laps of Norris making a mistake on the pit change, it can't be an absolute cook session. In my opinion, the highest it can go is holy. It was a holy race. It can't go anything higher. I'm sorry. And you know what else was a holy race? Yeah. Hungary, the next race after that. Piastri got his first race win. Lando Norris had to give up team orders or blah, blah, blah. There was a crash between Hamilton and Verstappen because he was too desperate and he couldn't get past. And there was issues between him on the radio and blah, 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 raging like a little child because he wasn't allowed to stay up late and play video games because he is meant to be an athlete. And he wasn't acting like an athlete over there. Has to go in holy, doesn't it? There wasn't really a battle for the win. It was just like, yeah, Piastri, you're 6 seconds behind me. I'm Norris. And you just go past. Like, come on. Grow up. It can't be higher. And last but not least, another race that has to go into the holy section. It has to be Spa. Cool. George Russell had a masterclass of a strategy, and he did kind of give him the own medal of, oh my god, guys, what a great strategy, when it was his strategy in the first place. I don't know what you're thinking. I don't know what you're doing, but good strategy. You won the race. Yeah, you won the race. There was battles upon battles everywhere. Piastri cooking up the Ferraris, and Sergio Perez being Sergio Perez, dropping back down, and Lewis Hamilton cooking, and Verstappen overtaking everybody. It was all cool, except for the fact that Russell didn't win the race, and Lewis Hamilton won the race like 5 hours after the race and celebrations and blah, 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 because his car was 1.2 kilograms underweight. You know how light that is? That's like a little flour, 1.5 kilogram flour bag. That's literally nothing. I can hold that up with my little pinky finger. What? Yeah, it was a holy race because the race winner didn't even win the race. Just what? Come on, that's shameful. Shameful. But in a nutshell, the first half of the season has to be like an A star. No, not an A star. Has to be like an A first half of the season. There's been battles, and there's a big championship fight between like a lot of people, right? Has to be. Anyway, let me know what you thought down in the comments. If you disagree and you want to change the order, put it down in the comments. And watch this, subscribe, like, and on why one, and have a safe, fantastic day. Don't die, and peace.
That's all, folks.